Welcome back to Living in Austin, Texas. We are already halfway through 2023, and with interest rates being what they are, the property taxes in the state of Texas being outrageous, and all of the ways that Austin, Texas is changing overall, a fair question to ask is it worth moving to Austin, Texas anymore? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about why. Stay tuned. Hey again, everybody. This is Frank with the Living in Austin group at eXp Realty. On this channel, we put out new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and yes, the bad. So consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already and ringing that little bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video. We also love the reach outs we get now all the time from people just like you in need of our help when relocating to the greater Austin area. So keep them coming. Do not hesitate. Whether you are 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. It is what we love to do. So yes, as mentioned in this video, we are talking about whether or not it is worth moving to Austin, Texas anymore. And obviously at the end of the day, that is subjective. I cannot definitively say yes or no. It ultimately boils down to what you're seeking, where you're coming from, and of course what you're okay with and what you're not. So let's talk about, at this point in time, what Austin, Texas has going for it and what it doesn't, so that hopefully by the end of this video, we can help you arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not it's right for you. For starters, perhaps the biggest reason why people have been moving here and will continue to do so would be the growth of Austin, Texas, and ultimately the jobs. What was once a small hippie college town has blossomed, for better and worse, into this corporate commercialized hub. All of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, there is so much opportunity here, especially with regards to the world of tech. And of course, to no surprise, a majority of the clients we've helped relocate to the greater Austin area absolutely, first and foremost, have done so because of job opportunities. And not even just our clients. In fact, it is a little bit embarrassing to talk about this, but recently I was on one of those dating apps because, let's face it, I probably don't get out quite as much as I should. Even just on that, I was absolutely blown away at how most everyone I saw was not from here. The amount of times I read the sentence, "New to Austin, show me some cool spots." Or the amount of times I'm making conversation saying, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" "Oh, haha, I'm new to Austin. Of course, I work in tech." So I mean, top to bottom, it really is becoming the norm here, for better and worse, which yes, I'll get to later in this video. But nonetheless, at least speaking economically, that is something it most certainly has going for it. Now, of course, something else that the greater Austin area most certainly has going for it, and in our experience is most certainly one of the biggest reasons why people continue to relocate here, would be the subject of school districts. Because in fact, yes, a majority of the clients that we've helped have come here for those job opportunities, but also with their families. And so whether it's Georgetown ISD, Eanes ISD, Lakeway, Leander, Round Rock, so on and so forth, you do have your pick of the bunch of cream of the crop public school districts that in some ways seem to be like private schools, just without the uniforms. Schools here in the state of Texas, not just Austin, are taken so seriously, as they should be. But I'm talking about the extra mile, like football stadiums for high school that are comparable to college stadiums, or auditoriums for choir and theater and things of that nature. And of course, as expected, when you are doing your homework on these school districts in the greater Austin area and you use a website like niche.com, you're going to see high letter grades and grand reviews. So at the end of the day, if perhaps you are coming with your family and schools naturally are at the top of your priority list, it might be worth moving to Austin, Texas after all. All right, keeping it positive for now at least, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about another thing that Austin, Texas has going for it, and that would be, quite frankly, the fact that it is Austin, Texas, and all that that entails. For a number of years, Austin, Texas has been the #1 hotspot for relocation in the entire country. Even to this day, it is consecutively among the most relocated cities in the entire country as well. And yes, to quite an extent, is that due to the aforementioned reasons I just explained? Most certainly, but it's also just because of the things to do and the culture here. Austin, Texas has an abundance of art galleries, of history exhibits, of nightlife, of music festivals, restaurants, taco trucks, breweries, distilleries, and of course that progressive, active, healthy lifestyle that it hangs its hat on. Is Austin, Texas going to have mountains or beaches? Most certainly not, but you're going to find people here that love to cycle, that love to jog, that love to go hiking, that love to go to Zilker Park. You'll find vegetarian options here. You'll find vegan vegan options here. You'll find the yoga lifestyle here. And while no, as mentioned, we don't have any beaches, you'll still find an abundance of bodies of water in the greater Austin area as well. Throw in the tech scene, throw in stuff like South by Southwest or ACL, and you'll find that it is a premier destination in the United States. All right, while I have been keeping it positive, and rightfully so, Austin, Texas is a lovely place to live. People are happy here, and it has a lot going for it. I would be remiss if I didn't do what I do best on this channel, which is keep it brutally honest with you guys so that you know what to expect. For starters, one of those things would unfortunately be its glaring and obvious lack of affordability. As mentioned many times on this channel, Austin, Texas is easily above and beyond the most expensive city to live in the entire gigantic state of Texas. Now, of course, rest assured, similar to other places in the country, once you leave the city limits, all of a sudden it gets considerably more affordable, with a number of suburbs and towns surrounding the city with homes as low as the 300,000s, and many of them, of course, in the 400,000s, all the way towards about $500,000, which is still about $100,000 less than the median home price within the city limits of Austin, which is around $600,000. So yes, while you do have an abundance of more affordable options within 15 to maybe 45 minutes outside of the city, Austin, Texas itself is still getting considerably more and more expensive as the time goes by, and we're heading down a road that isn't quite there yet, but is starting to look like people who got priced out of San Francisco or Los Angeles. It'll probably take several years until we're at that point, but yes, already we are beginning to see at least the early signs of people getting priced out. Now, something else I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention would be the subject of crime, homelessness, and panhandling. Now, ultimately, there isn't a ton to really say about it other than the fact that it's very present within the city limits, at least of Austin, Texas, and the fact that it's getting worse. But ultimately, I just want you to keep it in mind. I can't imagine there's a lot of other people, whether on YouTube or not, just openly talking about that. Nor am I trying to scare you or dissuade you or make you think you have to sleep with one eye open or anything like that. No, but you are going to see more tents, you are going to see more panhandlers, you are going to hear about random things that go down in Austin, Texas, whether it be aggravated assault, burglary, murder, just crazy stuff like that. Are you still safe? Most certainly, especially if you're living a bit removed from the city in suburbia. It's almost like a different world to some extent. But my job is to talk about Austin, Texas, so the more you know. Now, something else I briefly alluded to in the very beginning of this video as far as something that is not specific to Austin in terms of what it doesn't have going for it, but more so the state of Texas, and that would unfortunately be property taxes. I'll keep it brief since I do talk about those a lot on this channel, but ultimately it's just something for you to be mindful of. In some people's cases, it can be as severe as a deal breaker. In other people's cases, or in a lot of our clients' experiences, it's really just something you want to take into account and budget for. In a lot of the states that our clients have relocated from, they are used to property tax rates of 0.5%, 1%, maybe 1.5%. Well, here in Texas and Austin is no different. It's easily going to be 2%, 2.5%, sometimes 3%, and even above 3%. And while it is true that Texas itself has no state income tax, in some ways, I guess in a certain perspective, the property taxes can feel like a second mortgage. So again, not to discourage you, not to dissuade you, not to disenchant you, but when you're getting your ducks in a row and you're taking account what you can afford, what you can't, your budget, all of that stuff, just don't forget about the property taxes, because if you do, they'll bite you when you're not ready. Now, real quickly, before moving on, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. If we've been providing any value for you, consider clicking the like button as it helps our channel grow. Remember to subscribe, and lastly, share our content with anybody you know who's wanting to learn more about living in Austin, Texas. Now, lastly, regarding whether or not it is worth moving to Austin, Texas anymore, is something that is actually going to piggyback on what I spoke about earlier, which would be the subject of culture. Everything I said in favor of Austin, Texas earlier in this video is most certainly true. It is a great place to live. It is great that it's so popular. It is great that there's so much growth and opportunity. It's great that there's tourism and the lifestyle and things to do, so on and so forth. However, there are natural repercussions of that. There are things in the process of all those things thriving that kind of takes away from Austin, and that would be the fact that it is changing, which is great in a lot of ways because of inclusivity and diversity. But if you're looking for that Austin of old that was once so truly and genuinely great, you will feel it not so slowly and very surely slipping away. Now, on the plus side, of course, if you're coming from San Francisco or Los Angeles or Portland, wherever it might be, you might be attracted to the fact that Austin, Texas is no longer as Texan, right? Because I think anybody would agree it is the least stereotypically Texan place in the entire state of Texas, and to some extent it does have that going for it. But a lot of other people who've relocated here are attracted to the Southern culture. They want a change. They're ready to leave wherever they came from, and they don't want more of the same. And then they see a place that's kind of turning into that, you know. Now, rest assured, as mentioned, if you are removed from the city and you're in the Round Rocks of the world, the Cedar Parks, the Leanders, Liberty Hills, etc., it's going to feel much more balanced. It's going to feel much more like Texas, and you're going to perhaps get that lifestyle and pace of living that you were seeking if you're coming from another state. But ultimately, if you are going to either be living downtown or spending a lot of your time downtown, that is, to some extent, what you can expect. And so there you have it. Is it worth moving to Austin, Texas anymore? There are most certainly reasons in favor of doing so, and there are most certainly reasons against doing so. At the end of the day, it is subjective and ultimately boils down to personal preference, where you're coming from, what you're looking for, what you're okay with, what you're not. And with that in mind, hopefully we've done a good enough job of helping you arrive at your own conclusion as to whether or not it is right for you. And if it is, again, that is what we are here for, helping people just like you relocate to the greater Austin area, making that move as smooth as possible and finding that perfect spot. But again, the only way we can do that is by you reaching out to us. So do not hesitate. Whether you are 9 days away or 90, reach out to our team, whether you shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call any day of the week, any time of day. As also mentioned on this channel, we put out new content about living in Austin, Texas, the good and the bad. So remember to subscribe if you haven't already and ring that little bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Click the like button if we've been providing any value for you. Share it with anybody you know. And until the next one, you guys, my name is Frank. This is Living in Austin, Texas, and we will absolutely catch you later.